Okay guys, this is another internal presentation for Project Starfish members only, not to be shared with anybody else. This is only meant for those who are running the simulation. Okay? So again, welcome guys, and this presentation is going to walk you through two very important things. One is I'm going to make this video and PowerPoint that I'm recording as accessible as possible, so you know exactly what is on the screen. Second point is you need to know how to drive the execution of this simulation. Okay? So mind it, this is for frontline managers, managers in transition, or new managers. Okay? So the next slide that I present is I give everybody, anybody going through this simulation, which is at the goal level, the idea that why they need to do it and what is the difference between the gold, platinum, and diamond. The gold level is typically all about internal team management. Now, second one, which is platinum, is all about delegation of the tasks. The third one, which is diamond, is about team execution with the team through the entire process to deliver and create outcomes. So mind it, the diamond level is extremely tough because somebody has to deliver. The second, which is the platinum level, is kind of medium. The gold level is a little easy. Whatever may be, your job is always to make the manager successful. Never penalize the manager. Your job is to run the simulation as quickly as possible, knowing fully well whether this guy is a Harvard MBA or with no degrees doesn't matter. Not many people will succeed. Okay, so the next slide is about how I set the expectations about how they are going to work this managerial simulation. On this slide, there are four text boxes. At the bottom, there's an arrow which goes up, and these four boxes are aligned to these arrows. The first box at the bottom says role, and I explained that you are the manager, and being a manager, your expectation is to be professional and exactly feel like a manager. This is something that you need to tell them all the time, that look, you are the manager. Although it's a game, it is all real. So you have to tell them that you are the manager. The second piece is that they are given resources, and the box says you'll have real people, real customers, real processes. My suggestion is that you do not have to always let them know this because they already know it. But what is important for you is that make it easy for them. Make it really easy. Do not work too hard. Do not take all responsibility, but basically ensure that the cycle keeps moving. Point is that you keep a balance, understanding if the person is doing it right or not doing it right. If the person is doing it right, let the process continue. If the person is not doing it right, give the person more information and say you can do it. You got to motivate them a little bit too, right? The third box within the arrow is called activity, that is choose the level of the game and experience you want. The reason I'm telling you this is when you're managing the three levels, you have to know the level and the processes extremely well. If you do not know them, study it by heart. It is not possible that you get on a call with the manager and the manager finds out that you know nothing. It's going to be extremely, extremely pathetic. We look very unprofessional. The last box is, it says outcome, and within the box it says complete the cycle, meet objectives, learn, apply, reflect, and create impact. You have to understand that learn, apply, reflect, and create impact is also that you need to go through, because you constantly have to think about two things. How can you make the manager become successful and get the experience and move on. Second piece is that you have to be focused on the time. You have to be sometimes flexible because the simulation is tough. Do not expect people to complete it. It is not easy. Okay, now, next slide, it says simulation, gold, the steps. Now, I'm going to quickly read out the steps. The first step is to recruit and interview. The second step is team selection. Third step is establish rapport. Fourth step is to mentor, strategize, and lead. The fifth step is to delegate. The sixth step is reflect and measure whether things are going right or wrong. The activity expected or the outcome expected out of the goal simulation is that the customer has agreed to get on the call. Now, let me go through this in detail. Step number 1 is to recruit or interview. Your job is to have at least 5 to 7 resumes. Give this to the manager so the person can recruit. My suggestion is that whatever may it be, sometimes we may have 7 resumes, sometimes we may have 10, sometimes we may have 5, depending upon the situation. The goal is to have the person recruit a team of 3. If it is you, the project manager running the simulation, it can be you. But typically, if you're the project manager, it is your job to ensure that there is no time wasted in recruitment and team selection, because most people typically spend most of their time just doing this process. So it's never easy. Your job is to make it easy and tell him, look, the team selection and the recruitment and all that stuff actually is a time suck. I can tell you how quickly you can do it, but let's work together and cut down the cycle time. It is your responsibility. Why? Because if you leave everything to this person, the person is new. The person won't be able to do it. He's a new manager, right? Okay, so that was step number 1, which means be flexible all the time. Your goal is based on outcome, remember, which is there might be 7 resumes, 10 resumes, 5 resumes, doesn't matter. What matters is get to the point, which is he or she needs to select the team. Typically, what happens is that when the team is selected, a major portion goes towards mentoring people. Always tell the manager that, look, if you have selected a team, let's hop on for 20 minutes per person, or in 1 hour we can all have the 3 members or teams talking with you. But it's very important for you to create the rapport between teams and understand what we need, what we feel, how we are. And we also want to understand you. Knowing a little bit of the personal side is very important. And that is the advice you should always have. My suggestion is do not talk much. You should give the relevant information and that's it. Okay? So that is the team selection, and we need to finish team selection in like maximum 3 hours, or else it won't work. Okay? The third step is the establishment of the rapport. Now, when I say establishment of the rapport, it basically means that rapport can be established one-on-one. We talked about it, but there's a need for the person to also do a case study. My suggestion is that you can tell the person to bring out a company and do a case study, or you can ensure that the person is given a couple of company names, and you should be able to give it to the manager. What you can do is take a couple of the companies that we have already worked with. You can choose expertfi.com. You can choose some of the Harvard projects that we have done. You can choose Walter Weiss. You can choose the Australian company that is owned by Jess. Doesn't matter, whatever it is, your job is to furnish that information and say, hey, listen, you come prepared, we'll get the team, let's do this case study. Now, help the person with information. So, the third step, which is establishment of the rapport, ensure that you build a relationship. Now, when we go to the fourth step, which is the mentor, strategize, and lead piece, where the case study comes into the picture, right? When you're doing the case study, ensure you tell the person, look, there are some files on the workplace which basically talks about how to do a great case study. The key points that you need to remember about doing the case study, you don't, but you need to tell the person that, look, we know that you will be good at the case study. Just follow the CCAP model. But your case study should answer three things. How does the company do business? And entire analysis of the company's flow of business. The second piece is, what are the challenges of the company? What are the top three challenges and why are these challenges important to the company? The third piece is, what do you think we should prioritize? Which problem can we tackle? What can Project Starfish help with? Etc. etc. Also remember, during the case study phase, tell the person it is very, very important for him or her to get to know it is not about talking. Do not make a monologue, because if you're doing a monologue, then people are going to tune out. Rather, the person should be directing the case study and other people should be answering. My suggestion is, do not use your head, just follow the directions that is being given over here. Give them exactly the specific information that is needed. If you do not give the specific information and you keep on rambling, it won't work. Give them just the right info and say, this is how to get it done. Now, that was the fourth step. Now let's go to the fifth step, which is, it is very important that after the case study is done, the person needs to identify an industry and a set of companies and give the team the direction that they should be researching the company or companies and send emails out and get them on a call. Now, whatever may it be, this person who's doing this simulation does not really know two things. Three things actually. The first, most of the time, these people do not understand disability. Okay, so if you are expecting they know, it is not. Point number two is, these people are going through a time crisis. So when you say, look, you need to find an industry where you want a job or where you are focusing on, there are a couple of, let us choose startups. My suggestion is, although you may know it, the person might give you companies or find out companies that can be bizarre. Do not give, you can, but it's not worthwhile, because we know that the only way Project Starfish has been successful is with new startups, because new startups have, they suffer from the problem. So you can do two things. First, have resources in hand. And the resources can be that you can get Harvard Innovation Lab startups, MIT startups, for example, or you can have 500 startups or angel.co. My suggestion is that you keep all these handy and direct the person that he should or she should actually focus on these kind of startups in 4 or 5 places. Why is that? Because we are standardizing it. Now, everybody needs to typically send about 15 to 20 emails. It is difficult. Our ratio of success has been pretty high, like 1 out of 2. When the person gives you a script, do not blindly follow the script, because the person will not know how we have done business, why we have been so successful with 60 minute to impact or getting people on the phone call, etc. use our standard templates, but do not do not tell this person that we already have a template. Our idea is to get the script from him, but that does not mean that we have to follow that script, because if you follow some of the scripts this person gives you, we will head towards disaster. Okay, allow him to do the disaster, him or her, to go to the disaster once, but then immediately tweak the model and give the person the suggestions. Okay, emails are extremely important. Definitely choose people and train them on the art of the email, the templates, etc. Last piece for the gold activity is to get the customer on a call. The moment the customer gets on a call, his gold cycle ends. Okay, be flexible. And remember, this person is coming into a different country. It is not going to be easy, so it's going to be tough. And your job is to accelerate this cycle. Do not penalize. Sometimes you're going to put some pressure. Always remember that we are also going to earn some money through fines, or by basically telling them that, hey, you've crossed this time limit, you're 2 hours above, or more beyond, whatever, you have to pay $50 an hour. The reason is that if the person crosses an extra 2 hours, for example, that is a cost to the company, it's a loss to the company, so the person needs to feel the pain. That does not mean you will not negotiate. My suggestion is put a $50 per hour and then negotiate it back to $25 an hour. But it's important that we tell the person that, hey, listen, there's you might incur some liabilities, and if you don't complete on time, and this needs to be paid to us after the cycle. So guys, I'm going to continue to the platinum level, but I'm going to end this video now. So keep going to the platinum level so you know how to run the show. Okay, guys? Thanks.